contractor inside. Slow. Okay.
You're nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Are you really?
No.
Dad, you know what? And these can be short, simple answers, because, so, and just, it won't be hard. It's just
Right.
stuff you know.
The main.
Okay, you want me to start?
What?
This is John Boltema. He lives in Ridgeville, California, and he's my father. Today we're going to ask him some questions about his life, and Jason is recording for us. Okay, Dad, tell where you were born and where you spent your early childhood.
I was born in Sparta, Michigan, and spent my childhood until age 9 in that town, and then we moved from there to California in 1930.
How old
And
were you then?
I was 9 years old. I was born in 1921, and we ran a dairy farm in Michigan, and how I became a rice farmer, only God knows.
Okay, Dad, did your parents originate from Michigan? If not, tell where they came from and a little bit about your mother and your father. What characteristics you most appreciated in them?
Okay.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
multifaceted.
Right.
No, my parents were born in Holland. Mother came to this country at age a year and a half. And my dad actually came twice, one at age 15 and again at age 16. And they were both born in the little town of Uithuizen, Holland. It's in the Groningen province and in the northern tip of Holland. It borders the North Sea. And they migrated to this country because my dad's older brother came to Michigan to study at Calvin College to be a minister in the Christian Reformed Church. And as a result, he wrote to his parents and told them that this was a land of opportunity. If you were born poor in Holland, you remained poor. And he encouraged them to come, which they did later as a whole family. My dad at that time was only 15, but coming over on the ship, he got sores in his head from the lice aboard ship. They came third class as they were poor. And he was the only one in the family, however, that happened to. And when they got to Ellis Island, he was not allowed to stay in this country and had to turn right around and go back to Holland.
Okay.
He went back to Holland and worked for the same farmer he had worked for previously for another year and earned enough money to come second class. And he returned to Ellis Island and often told us how he was concerned whether his parents would be there to meet him. He knew they had gone to Michigan, and he knew that Michigan was quite a distance from New York, and worried all the way over whether there would be someone there to meet him. But they settled in Grand Rapids and lived in that area until we moved to Sparta, and from there to California.
Good.
Okay, Dad, just in a couple sentences, tell us, describe Grandma, or your mother and your father, and the traits that you appreciated in them.
Well, coming from Holland as poor farm people, they were very thrifty, and they taught us that. And I think my dad was very energetic, very hardworking, and taught us early in life how to work.
What about Grandma, or your mother?
My grandma was, my mother was very hardworking also. She made a lot of the clothes for us as children, and they were both good Christian parents and made a very good home for the family.
Do you remember a piece of fatherly advice you got from your dad?
Yes, I remember a number of them, but I remember when I got married that he told me, now son, you're out on your own. When you get married, don't come back to me with your problems. And he said if it's a case of illness or death, he said, you're more than welcome, but when you step out of this home and take a wife, I don't want to hear of the problems. I want you to realize that you're on your own.
Yeah. Okay, can I start? Name a typical meal time in your household
Typical mealtime.
when you were growing up.
Yeah, well, with my grandpa came to live with us after his wife died, which was before I was born, and so there were always 8 of us around the table. We were 4 boys and a girl in the family, mother and father and grandfather, and so it was a large table. We always had prayer before and after we ate, and Dad always read the Bible and would call on Grandpa to pray after the meal, and he always prayed in Dutch, and so I learned some of the Dutch from that. And the typical meal was always plenty of food on the table, and always an enjoyable time. Everybody exchanged stories of the day, and it was always an interesting time.
You ready? You tell me when you, name a time when you were disciplined and why.
Tough one. I was disciplined so many times. I'm trying to think of the most severe discipline. Okay. We were disciplined often for, as children, of course, we got into mischief and played with fire, and I can remember being disciplined pretty severely for that. We were disciplined as we got older and used the car, if we did something wrong there. I remember a few times where there were little scrapes and dents that occurred, and we were disciplined. I don't know.
That's enough. You remember a lot. Okay. Okay, Dad, what would you say if your family had a reputation or quirks? What was the Boltima family known for?
Ooh.
You could just give a label or
I think probably in the Butte City area where we first moved to, we were known for a family that worked together as a family. We did a lot of work, hard work that it was hard to find people that wanted to do that work. And the people that came from Holland were very hard-working people. And my dad believed that we should be brought up that way. One of his favorite sayings was, I'd rather wear out than rust out. And I know the schools thought that he worked his family too hard. And when my older brother Don didn't attend high school, it was a choice of his not to go. The principal came and thought that it was a result of Dad demanding too much work from him that he was not able to come. And they were going to intervene and see to it that the children were forced to go to school. So I'd say that probably that was the reputation I remember the most.
Okay, you've mentioned work a lot, Dad. One of the questions we had was what chores were you expected to do growing up?
So you get more sun in your face. There you go. That's good. Okay.
Tell me when I can start.
Okay. One, oh shoot, I had it recording.
I'd say that the chores we had to do before school, I always had to milk a cow. Usually we had pigs, and I had to feed pigs, feed the chickens, gather the eggs. Grandpa took care of a lot of these chores, but because Dad wanted us to assume some responsibility, he didn't always make demands on Grandpa for that, and we had to do our part. And then, of course, as we got older and were able to do the hard physical labor. It was hay baling and barley hauling, and we would go early in the morning to bale hay, like 2 o'clock in the morning, and bale until 7. Then from 7 until noon, usually we'd haul that hay, and then in the afternoon we could go haul barley until 6 o'clock when the warehouse closed. And then Dad would say, well, I think we got time to put a load in Dick Hewlin's granary. And so we'd go put some, and then we'd come home and take a bath and eat and go to bed, get ready for tomorrow.
And no time for trouble.
No.
Okay, what were your hobbies or outside interests growing up when you weren't working?
Well, when I got in high school as well as grammar school, I thought I was going to be a professional athlete. It never developed. I played baseball, got 4 years in grammar school and then through high school, and I wanted to go on to San Jose State to college, and my folks said no, you can go to Chico State, and that way you can stay at home. And I didn't want to go to Chico State because in those days it was known as a teacher's college. So I said I'll stay home a year and work, and one of us will change our minds. Well, my folks never changed their minds, and so I've been at home working ever since.
What kind of a high school student were you? Pick one of these and share a memory. A high school dance memory, a senior prom memory.
We were brought up in a Christian home. My folks did not allow us to attend dances. We weren't allowed to go to shows. So there wasn't a lot in the entertainment field that we could participate in. I was enthusiastic about sports. I didn't get the best grades. I realized today that I could have been a much better student and put the priority on learning and a little less on athletic activities. I love basketball, baseball. Never got to play football, but I'd say my high school experiences were a lot of fun, but I didn't dedicate my time to studies as much as I should have.
Okay, Dad, what did you do after high school, and how did that evolve to what you're doing today?
Well, during high school, I started to come to Richvale and start dating a girl here in Richvale. We came to church over here, and I got active in the young peoples, and as a result, started courting a girl over here. And after high school, we married a couple of years out of high school, and I had been dating her for 3 years, and her parents were rice farmers, and they encouraged me to come over here and farm. We had the history in rice in Glenn County because my dad owned a section of ground by that time and had raised rice. So my first crop was in 1939. When I was in high school, was my first experience at growing rice. And then I came over here in 1940 and started to raise rice over here with my father-in-law, to be. And in 41 we married, and I've been raising rice here ever since. So.
Want me to say something? Tell me when to start.
I just did.
Oh. You mentioned that you met your future spouse in the youth group at church. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little more about what sold you on the fact that she was the one and how you proposed to her.
We met at Young People's, as I said, and she was a fun-loving girl, and she was very ready to say yes when I asked for the first date, and there was never any doubt in my mind that someday would be married and probably live here and be involved in rice farming.
And her name was?
Her name was Lois Nelson.
Okay.
She became Lois Boldema.
And how old was she when you met her?
When I met her first, she was about 18, 17, perhaps 17.
And how'd you propose?
I think we were, after a Sunday evening, we had gone to Oroville for something to eat afterward, and then we had come back over and parked in her parents' driveway, and I proposed to her.
Now, Dad, this is a Jason question. If you would describe your wedding day as a food, would you describe it as a hot tamale, angel food cake, apple tart, or prune whip, and why?
Oh, I can't remember all those. I think it would have been a combination of several of those. It was, the kind of, it was totally different than the weddings are today. During the war, the early part of the war, there weren't a lot of, sugar wasn't available, and there weren't a lot of big weddings put on because, and then her parents were not, I didn't feel they were that affluent that they wanted to put on a big wedding. And so we went to Reno, as several of the couples here in Richville did at that time. And my brother and Lois's twin sister Doris went along, and we were married in Carson City at the Justice of the Peace. And somebody said, when you do that, there's no justice and no peace after that. But I have to say it was quite the opposite for us. There was plenty of justice and a lot of peace. Oh,
Your
ice
choices.
cream.
There you go. You didn't pick the right dessert, Jason. Ice cream. He says that's always fills up the cracks.
Yeah.
That's his line.
Well, Grandpa used to freeze a freezer of ice cream, 6-quart freezer that he had to hand crank, and it was 3 times a week. And we looked forward to that. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday was ice cream night. And we'd come home from work and just,
Is this Grandpa Nelson?
no, Grandpa Waltice.
Okay, your grandpa.
My grandpa that lived with us.
Okay. Well, good.
Got me looking into the sun now.
I know, it's tough. Good thing you have glasses on. Tell me when to go. Okay, what was the biggest challenge in your early years of marriage?
Well, probably taking on the responsibility of being married and raising a family, and not really, because of the government program, I was not able to get a large acreage. I started with 45 acres of rice, and we soon began to raise a family, and so I had to have another occupation to supplement the income from rice, and I got into the trucking business, hauled gravel for the state, the county, and the Army was building a bunch of bases at that time, barracks, and I was hauling concrete mix and working on highways, and was deferred from draft because I was involved in agriculture, and I was also a pre-Pearl Harbor father, which kept me out of the draft until 1945, when the war was almost over, and I finally was drafted into the Navy.
What was that question again?
That question was, what was the biggest challenge in your early years of marriage? And he said, making ends meet with the new family.
Okay, I got lost in the tail.
Are you, have you
Am
stopped?
I not, maybe you want more brief answers.
No, not necessarily.
You're doing a good job.
Did you stop? You're not going now.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, my goodness. Well, are we going to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need me for that.
This is my baby. I get to run this in the spring.
Okay, so that was, you got that.
Go.
You feel like an actor, Dad?
Yeah, I do. You're telling us right now, and so you ought to really, put something down in writing. And there was a little seminar going on at this little resort where we were, and they were telling you how to put it in book form. And I've thought I would like to do that, but I haven't gotten around to it. A 401, which is a premium variety and brings a better price. Now, you see, this is what we've got to do to the ground. See how the ground is worked? All that straw has to be worked in, and then we flood it so that the straw will rot. And that's a lot of extra expense. It costs us about $30 an acre to chop and chisel. And it's almost as expensive as the spring work we do to plant the crop. So it's not a thing that we like to deal with.
Oops, hold on.
You ready? This label, Bolt, is Ray's Corporation, R&T Bolt, and Lojon, Lois and John. That's how we originated that. That's my corporation. And this is a partnership of corporations that does the custom work for the farming. And Twyla made this up. And Richvale, Rice and Grain.
Okay, Dad, I'd like to ask you some things about your siblings growing up. Would you talk a little bit, you said you had 4 brothers and a sister. Would you tell some things, your favorite things to do together as a family or with your brothers and sister, and who you were closest to and why?
Well, probably my most memorable times are when the relatives, cousins would, probably some of my favorite memories are when all of the cousins would come. Most of them were Grand Rapids and were not acquainted with the farm. They loved to come to the farm, and we'd go into the alfalfa field and get a ball game going. And we also had a dog that would play hide and seek. We could throw a stick down the hill and go run in the barn and hide in the hay mow, and the dog would come and find us. That same dog would pull us on the sled on the ice in the Rogue River when it froze over. And we had a lot of fun with doing things like that, winter sports.
Would you name your brothers and your sister?
Yes. My oldest brother, Carol.
Scott.
Okay. My oldest brother was Carol, and then I had a sister, Alice. My next brother was Don, and then myself, and the youngest brother, Jim. And Jim and I were probably closer, being 2 years apart and the youngest. We played more together. The older brothers would be working sometimes before we reached that age, and so I think we did things together and we're closer as a result.
Can you remember a specific family vacation, and what was one of your favorite family vacations?
Well, my folks tried to take the younger children on a vacation every year. My oldest brother and sister took train trips together up to the Royal Gorge and into Canada. They took us back to Michigan on a trip I remember well in 1936. and to visit relatives and picked up a new car. And we always had fun traveling and
How frequently did your family usually, did you have
we,
a traditional thing you used to do at
yeah,
all?
it seems like about every 5 years there was a trip to Michigan for a new car and a kind of a reunion with relatives, and those are things I didn't get to participate in all of them. When I graduated from high school, I did go back in 1940 with my folks to drive a new car out. And that was a kind of a graduation gift. We went back on the train. I remember playing checkers with my cousin had been out here living with us, and all the way back, he went back that year, and all the way back we played checkers on the train.
What specific family tradition do you remember about Christmas, or a neat Christmas memory you have of when you were growing up?
Well, it doesn't seem like the Dutch people made as much of Christmas as the Swedish people do. After I was married, I know Lois put up much more decorations than I was used to at home. We had simple decorations, a tree, but not a lot of other things. And well, it was a little change for me, but not hard to adjust to. There was always an exchange of gifts. Always read the Christmas story.
Do you have a traditional Christmas food or any traditions that you remember?
Well, it was always a variety. It could be turkey and ham and other things for Christmas. And
So it was more varied. Okay.
Was Christmas your favorite holiday?
yeah, I would say so. We always, of course, had gift exchange, and we look forward to that. I don't believe we had as much celebration and birthdays and Christmas as a lot of other nationalities did, because, as I said, the Dutch did not celebrate those to the same extent that we do in this country. When we're harvesting, they get held up, and so there will be a set of trailers there being loaded while they're in, and they come back and unhook and hook up and come back and sit in line again.
Those are your new harvesters over there?
New harvesters there. The header's off of it for
Need to
storage, but
Get close for that.
I don't think you can see it very well.
Okay.
This is the new CTS-2 that we bought this year. Bought it mainly to put the new honeybee header on, which has greater capacity, and it's really a pleasure to run. I enjoyed that. About as small, and it didn't have front end power, so we didn't have traction enough. This replaces the bulldozer that we used to have to haul, and this can run down the road and get there quickly. It's very versatile. We buy everything with cabs now. It dust-free, mosquito-free, and just got music if you want it. Time goes faster when you're in a cab.
Allergic as I am.
We have a mower that goes on the back of this, flail-type mower that we mow the roads with. Covers a 12-foot span and keeps our roads in good shape.
Happy man with his John Deere.
Right.
Best friend a guy can have, right?
Nothing runs like a deer.
That should be on a commercial, Grandpa.
Well, that is one of their commercials. It's not original.
Oh. One thing I always liked about the country is the dogs. He's great.
Isn't it?
When,
Hoover.
You know Hoover?
Hey, Hoover. How are you, huh? Yeah, how are you? Yeah, you good doggy? Yeah, that's Hoover.
Hi, how are you?
side is back, right?
Yeah, even in my diaper pants here.
Have you been hunting?
I did go out this morning. It's the first time I've been hunting this year.
Really?
Was
A
he good
pheasant?
anything?
Yeah, we shot 2 geese and 2 ducks. And we,
No pheasants?
oh, no.
No. across Dry Creek. I think it
No,
was.
it's Holcomb.
I think Brian was
Holcomb,
out, yeah.
Holcomb,
It
yeah.
was
Brian
John,
was-
Brian, and I.
John.
Yes, the three of you, and I thought, oh boy.
And
Because they're greenhorns. and-
We were only 14, 15 years old, Brian.
Yes,
and I.
that's right, that's
And I
right.
came out to the field
why I
just
was just-
shivering because I was just almost certain it's going to be one of you because somebody had told us it happened on the Craig lot out by Dry Creek. And you guys were hunting on field 9 and 10.
Oops. Shoot. I had a zoom. All right. New location. Go ahead.
Hold your tummy in, dear. Yeah, blouse out the sweater.
Hold yours in.
Yeah, I know.
Are you filming?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Okay, Dad. Now we'd like you to tell a little bit about the children that you and Lois had, the birth order, and just a sentence to describe each one.
Oh, we had 5 children, the first of which was a boy, Raymond, and followed by 4 girls, Cheryl, Phyllis, Barbara, and Jill. And we scattered them pretty widely. Ray was born in 42, Cheryl was born in 45, Phyllis was born in 48, Barbara was born in 53, and Jill, the trailer, was born in 1962. Oh boy, all different.
Typical.
Yeah. Boy, I don't know. Probably Cheryl and Phyllis were the most studious of the group, of the 4 girls. Ray was sports-minded like his dad, didn't concentrate enough on studies. Barbara and Jill were in for a good time. I think they were not quite as studious as their older sisters, but all did well in school.
Okay. This one's the most stubborn, and that one's the hardest to get along with. Okay, Dad. Describe one of your, or just a proud parent moment that comes to mind.
Oh boy. Oh, I guess I was a proud parent on more than one occasion. I can recall times when I was proud of Ray in the sports field, being sports-minded myself. I was proud of Cheryl when she was salutatorian in high school. And I was proud of both the girls as they went on to Westmont College and stuck with it, graduated from Westmont. Both went into teaching briefly, interrupted finally by a marriage. And the 2 younger ones did not complete a college course. Both attended college briefly, been married and started to raise families, and we just had a good time.
Are you still going, hon?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Dad, name one influential person in your life and why.
Oh boy. Just one?
There
were probably many.
Yeah,
but
there always are.
Probably my dad.
Okay. Why would you say?
Stop.
Probably his work ethics, and I came to appreciate that more later in life, as I saw some of my classmates that grew up in different type families that struggled to get going in a life of their own, and then they're consistent to Christian testimony. They always saw to it we got to church and got to Bible camps.
That was a priority in your
Yeah,
life.
that was a priority in their life.
And that leads to another question. Tell us how you made a decision to become a Christian. Thinking, but not practicing.
Well,
You're on.
I think it was at an early age. In my case, I think at about age 12. I think we were at a tent meeting, and I heard a message that really convicted me, and I accepted the Lord, but I realized after I got to high school that I was talking the talk, but not walking the walk. And I think it was at that time that I rededicated my life and realized that I had to live a consistent life, not just talk it, but I had to really experience it and live it.
Last question, Dad. Has this been painful?
No, but it's soul searching and kind of stretches my memory, trying to recall some of those things on the spur of the moment. I'm sure I'll think of many things that would have been better answers later.
Well, I'm going to give you a chance to really stretch yourself here. What type of advice do you have that you think is worthy to pass on to future generations?
Oh boy. Yeah, I think so.
I have to think a long time about that one, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, it's difficult to give advice to somebody else's upbringing and thought train might not be what mine is, but I think the thing I probably most appreciated was, as I started to say before, the work ethic that we were taught that helped me to get along in life, being married young and having to accept the responsibility of a family. And I'm just thankful that I married a good Christian gal who was the helpmate I needed and the help I needed to raise a family, and that her consistent Christian testimony helped me as well as all of the children. I have nothing but fond memories of those years.
So your advice is work hard and marry well?
Very good.
Summed up by the daughter who knows.
If you get a chance to marry money, that's all right too.
That's it, Jason.
Jason, that might fit you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wish I could be a better movie actor. I don't do well in front of the camera or in public speaking. So
That's right.
that was never my forte.
I'll make you look good.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay, promise. And you can edit out anything that's not appropriate.
Okay. I like just wave bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
From which ranch are you? Which ranch do you belong to?
The Ranch of Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks?
He's the Low
Hours
John.
Ranch.
Long Hours Ranch.
Yeah, Long Hours Ranch.
So long from Low John Farms and Long Hours Ranch.
Okay, welcome to our new house. This is off of our back porch, actually. Got the Aurora Bridge over there. This is the little, tiny little yard space right behind the house. Off the other side of the deck, there's our new car out there, Mom and Dad. It's our beautiful tree. Here's the side of our house. Big bay window. Pretty excited. This here is our deck off the back. And right there is the door to our kitchen. Alright, we got our boys.
What do you guys think? Eating gourd.
This is off the side of the kitchen here.
I love this kitchen. That's cool, huh? Yeah, it's good.
Fridge. Okay, now I'm standing right by James and John, so they're there at the table. I'll give you perspective. That closet's washer, dryer, pantry, little island.
Yeah, we have it.
That door back there goes out to the back to the basement, and Julie.
We don't have pride pictures. We've lost them. I think they're still in Ukraine.
There's our 1901
We can't find
stove.
them. We got
Okay.
LVP, main video person.
As long as I'm not in it.
Where's Greg? What's he
Greg's
doing?
taking a nap up in that bed up there.
Is he using a can?
Greg's christening the toilet.
Looking from the living room into the kitchen, and then the bathroom is off to the left here. And you can see ceiling to toe here. See the wood siding? Standing at the toilet here, you can see the shower and the kitchen window here, or the bathroom window, and you can see out to the deck, and then up across the territorial view, our neighbors here, just right there.
I'm heading back tomorrow.
Looking into the family room now from the kitchen, and you see the little wood burning stove and the floors, and so this is the bay window here. Here again you see the deck on the outside, and this is looking at the living room from the other angle. What's that?
Will this warm up the room?
Yeah, you know what? That thing would probably cook you out of this house if you got it cranked up.
Gunner, say hi. Sorry, agent, the man that made it all happen. Yeah, home video. Parents will love you.
Well, they got a furnace.
And
That's
this is
what
flowing
they use.
into
Yeah,
They didn't have one.
yeah. That's amazing.
very elegant movement over there. Just flowing out of my way.
I'm trying to get out of here. Yeah,
So this is the small
for radio.
little dining room,
On film.
and you see the little French doors which lead into the other room, which is the front of the house. What? Bug off.
You see, that's the thing. You know, mom and dad's love it. They
Yeah.
love us.
I love you, Mom! So from the one room into the front room,
I watched it. Send them to me or my parents first, and I watched them. And like, oh, you know, I'm just dying watching this, and the parents just eat that stuff. Oh,
I know, every night. For like
this is the entryway.
Oh yeah, they watched it several times over.
There's a city from our front steps. And here's the house with the little tulip bed in front and the bench. And you can see our neighbors to the right. Very small street. And actually the recycling center, as we prefer to call it, is down probably one block that way, and then take a left, or a right, excuse me. There you can see the deck in the back. Our property line is pretty much on the left of that tree, so not much room on that side. And the other side is a walkway with an easement to the basement. So here, coming up the stairs, what's up, G? It's the window from the upstairs as you come up. And it's kind of tight quarters in here, so it's hard to get all the angles. But basically, bedroom, bathroom. No, it's okay. So you can see all the angled ceilings up here. Little skylight that we need to get the window replaced on. And here's our little tub. It's supposed to be a claw tub underneath. Did Heather tell you about that, Gray?
Yeah.